Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Tonight, we're going to talk about fragrances from my collection that I love, but I would not recommend. Now, this is based entirely on my opinion and my experience, but in my opinion and experience, these fragrances are a little bit challenging, maybe a lot challenging for a lot of people that I've shared them with over the years. And because of that, I think it's one should tread lightly, especially if you do have a large collection like I do, recommending these. In fact, a couple of them, I get a little bit nervous even, someone asking me about, oh, what's this? It's got an unusual bottle, or what's this? It sounds interesting. I get nervous before they smell them. I think, okay, well, I better warn you, this is about the art type of thing. So, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Now, before I get into it, I do want to say that I am still working with my database that I built. And I don't think I told you guys about the database. I made a video yesterday. I was so sick. And I made a video and I just looked like, death warmed over. It was really bad. And I ended up not publishing it. Maybe I'll save it for, a rainy day or something. But um, in the video, I talked a little bit about this database that I built to kind of catalog the different fragrances and from my collection. And I'm not done yet, but if you see me look down, that's why, because I'm looking at these fragrances now on my laptop. Before I had volumes of these notebooks with notes so that I could prepare for the videos that I make. But it just felt, it felt ecologically unsound. So I thought, let me do a really snazzy spreadsheet. And this way you won't hear papers flipping and I won't have as much paper laying about. So with that, let's jump into fragrances from my collection that I love that I would not recommend. Okay, let's start out with Byredo Pulp. Have you heard of this one? So this is very, very interesting. Let me just open up. I love this database. Okay. So there's a 50 mil. I got this in about 2017. It's an EDP. It's unisex. The nose on this is Jerome Epinay, and I paid about $200 for it at the time. It does appear this may be discontinued. So if you were to buy it today, you might have to pay an upcharge for it because it doesn't appear to be readily available. The notes in this are, let's see, we've got bergamot, blackcurrant, cardamom, fig, cedar, peach flower, praline. You know what I get out of this, you guys? I get a combination of tomato leaf and a very young grapefruit. Very acrid, very astringent, acidic, just type of thing. Right? It's a tough one. And so I almost want to tell people with just a hint of cannabis. And it just, it's a shocker, I guess, in my opinion. And I love it. I want to keep it in my collection. I have rehomed a few of my fragrances over the years that didn't work out for me that I thought others would really enjoy. But this, I just can't let go of it. I think it's really special. And I do enjoy it when I'm outdoors, believe it or not, gardening or, maybe just piddling around. I think it's great in the heat, in the warm weather. Maybe even on a hot rainy day, like a petrichor type day, it kind of cuts through the earthiness that's naturally in the air. But this is challenging. I get no flowers in this. I get no wood. Um, this can be overpowering. And the truth is, outside of piddling around the house and gardening, I don't have a place for this in my life, and yet I can't let it go. This, like a few other fragrances, I will just pull out and smell. Just I don't know. I don't necessarily always want to wear it, but I often want to smell it. Does that happen to you? Um, Let me know in the comments. Let's see. It's loud. It's what did I say? Audacious, bold, unwielding. It's similar to other garden fragrances like perhaps Maison, Margiela's, I think from the garden or in the garden or something like that. It's similar, but this is much, much stronger. So very strong herbal, I would say beast mode, sharp green citrus. It is Pulp by, I hate when it does that, Byredo. Okay. Take a sip of tea, by the way. Tonight's tea is chocolate yerba mate. I hope I'm saying that right. And a like a chai. I mix them, and that's great. Okay, moving on to the next fragrance that I really, really love, but I will not recommend, at least not easily. That is Tom Ford's Tuberose Nue. Now, story behind this is I got this as a gift about 3 years ago from my husband for Christmas. And he was trying so hard to get me a wonderful fragrance for my collection. And he knew I loved Tom Ford. So he went and he got this. And I was like, oh God. I'd never seen it before. I'd never heard of it because the truth is, I don't look for florals because florals don't work on me. But I would never dream of, at the time, now we laugh about it, but at the time I would never dream of telling him that. Um, and I will never give it up because it was a gift. I'm just, that's just not how I'm wired. If that's, how you do things and you think it, would be better off somewhere else, or you want to give it away or whatever, that's up to you. But for me, I can't because this came from him, and so I have to keep it no matter what. But I have made friends with it, but it took me a while. This is a white floral explosion. I sprayed it on skin because I'm still not, I'm still trying to make friends with it. It's very jasmine and lily forward, not Easter lily, like a non-Easter lily, white lily. Kind of like a tiger lily, but white, right? It's just got that, and maybe, gosh, what else is in here? Let me just see. I have the notes. Allegedly, there's suede, tonka, and oud in here. But so jasmine, lily, Szechuan, black pepper. I gotta tell you, I get floral, I get it loud, I get some leather at the opening. It does settle down, but imagine walking into a florist's shop, but not in a good way. Like it's too much. It's just too much. If you love florals, like big, realistic white florals, maybe this one's for you. And I'll tell you, I would recommend it under those circumstances, but I don't know anyone that would smell this and not go, whoa, especially the opening. It is in your face. It is like a concentrated white floral. Just, with a hint of leather. Now, as it dries down, it gets powdery, almost a little candy. And the lily becomes soft and sweet. And there is a hint of gardenia in there too. And gardenia to me, when done right, um, because I've had gardenias growing in my yard over the years when I was younger. I lived in a warmer climate, and it was just incredible. Very much like a yellow. It felt more like a yellow tropical floral to me than a white floral. It just had a different sort of thickness to the aroma, almost a waxy, um, beautiful coating. It just covered you. It was amazing. That's what I get a little bit in this as it dries down in a really positive way. So for this, if you don't like florals or florals don't work on you, you got to give this like an hour, like at least. And then it becomes really nice. So I'm going to keep on with this. I'm not going to give it up. Um, but it is beast. Would I have bought it? No. But now that I have it, I'm going to love it. It's growing on me. That's what I can say. All right. So I respect it. There you go. Tom Ford's Tuberose Nue. By the way, this is 50 mil. He probably paid about 200 for it, but I think you can get it now for like 167 or so. It's an EDP. All right. Moving on to our next fragrance. Oh boy, this one. All right. Here we go. Ambilux by Marlou. First problem I have is I hate the bottle. I mean, it's not bad in and of itself, but it doesn't work in my collection. It's a cork top, but not a cute one like some of the other cork tops. It looks like what I imagined ages ago, illicit drugs came in, like the kind that your doctor might have overprescribed back in the early 1900s, like looks illegal. It's not, of course. I mean, this is just a fragrance, but so whatever. This is an EDP 50 mil, and this one, okay, so here's how I have it described. Raw human skin, but more complex. A hint of dried rose. Like years ago, people would put a rose in a book and they'd close it and then come back 30 years later and it would still be in there, but it would be like squished. And I don't know why they did that, because you take it out and it would like completely fall apart and it smelled weird. This has that weird smell. So I wrote, I'm still struggling on how to wear this. I like smelling it, but I'm not sure why. Yup. I don't get my compulsion to smell it. It dries down to a harsh skin scent with dried cut grass that's a bit sour smelling. Almost like a flower. Oh, like flower bouquet water. Yeah, I remember this. Flower bouquet water that's a little too ripe. Like it's time to get rid of it. You get some of that in here too. So the notes are cumin, lots of cumin, pink pepper, castoreum, costus, immortelle, allegedly incense and ylang ylang. I don't get that at all. No way. I definitely get a lot of castoreum and cumin for sure. This is a skin scent meets animalic, right? So imagine your skin, but worse. Okay. Like, um, like the cliche, your skin but better. It's like, switch that. It's like your skin but worse. And woo, this is something. But it's weird. I can't stop smelling it. Now, it dries down in a way that's a bit more forgiving and isn't as harsh, but I'm not sure what to do with it. Like the Byredo Pulp, sometimes I just pull it out and smell it, and I'm just like, really? But maybe every other week I do that. Then I'll test it and I'll think, hey, maybe it's a little bit like this one or like that one, but no matter what I compare it to, it's just, no, this is its own thing. And if you really want to laugh, check out some of the comments from, the frag community, the frag head, frag com, talking about what it reminds them of. So like one that I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like, you know, saliva after a really big meal, where the person didn't go and brush their teeth and it's like an hour later. There's a little of that. It's definitely odd. And I cannot tell you what compelled me to buy it. Sometimes I will smell something and I like it, or there's something really compelling about it. And then I smell it again and I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? And that's what happened here. But I'm intrigued. Yeah. Think breath, you know, the whole skin thing. A nice person, a good person who didn't get a chance to shower today. And they probably should have. Bang. But I respect it. I definitely respect it. And I'm keeping it. Ambilux by Marlou. All right, moving on. The last one I'll talk about is probably going to be a surprise. This still surprises me. It is Patchouli Absolu by Tom Ford. I hate it when it does this. There, that's close enough. Okay, it's a 50 mil. It's an EDP. So in here we have patchouli oil, patchouli cur, patchouli clearwood, cypriot, leather, guaiac wood, cashmere wood, amber, tonka. Yeah, it's a whole lot of very strong patchouli, and not patchouli in a way that you might be used to. This is a very dark green pine tar meets patchouli. Um, it leans in the direction of that kind of chocolate cake, that dark chocolate cake patchouli that you hear described sometimes. If that's a thing, it's in here. It's like, this is it. It's not the patchouli that used to be a staple flavor of incense years ago, like in the 80s. I'm dating myself here. um, Incense came in like three flavors: strawberry, patchouli, and sandalwood. And this ain't that. This patchouli, I think, is wonderful. For me, it gives me a secure feeling. I feel daring, cozy, confident. I feel strong, warm. It's an earthy fragrance. I think it is lovely. The reason I wouldn't recommend it is because there are people out there who are very just deadly serious about their patchoulis, right? And I've noticed it's very polarizing. You give this to the wrong person and they freak out. They get indignant. That's not what patchouli should be. And then others are like, this is the purest expression of patchouli. This is patchouli at its finest. You just get like these patchouli wars. And it's overwhelming. And those are the reactions I get when I share this with people. I think it's amazing. And they think they love it or they hate it, right? And it's a very strong love. Like, oh my gosh, I have to bathe in this. And it's very, very strong, by the way. So that's a bad idea. Or they hate it and they're just offended. Like they get offended. Like it becomes political patchouli. Here you go, right here. So how does this make me feel though? Um, it makes me think of a dark, wet, snowy night. It's deep, it's complex. It makes me think of the Robert Frost poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, miles to go before I sleep. That's what this is to me. And it's one of the first really non-mainstream fragrances I added to my collection, when I first started collecting, so around 2016. And so it is really special to me. I use it very, very sparingly. The price I paid was about $300 for this. The nose is Richard Herpen. It is loud. It's a 2014 release. It does appear to be discontinued. And so when I looked around for how much it would cost to acquire this today, I got about $700 out there. Do I think it's worth the price? Yes, I do. Um, would I repurchase it? Yes, I would. Now, when I say it's worth the price, was it worth the price I paid for it? Yes. Would I pay 700 for it? No. But would I pay 300 for it, which is pricey, especially given when I bought it? Yeah. It was. I've never smelled anything else like this. So I think this is really special, but I would be hesitant to recommend it because people freak out, either in a good way or a strange way. All right, so that's it for tonight. Fragrances I love from my collection. I love them enough to have bought full bottles and kept them. Um, and yet I would hesitate to recommend, unless I knew someone would absolutely love it for some reason. So let me know what you think in the comments. And hey, if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to build it up. Leave me a comment. I read every one of them and I respond to them. And I am so fortunate to have the most wonderful group of folks watching. I am so grateful that you tune in, that you care what I have to say, that you engage with me. Just thank you so much. It's beyond heartwarming. That's it. See you in the next one. Bye.